Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. It's all over for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. Manchester United have decided that they'll have to replace Solskjaer, but it's still unclear when they'll sack him. Manchester United are planning for their next manager after the Manchester United board accept that Solskjaer has to be sacked. Brendan Rodgers is leading the race to replace Solskjaer. Brendan Rodgers is still house hunting in Cheshire. Man United are confident that Brendan Rodgers will be their next manager. Brendan Rodgers is preferred to Zinedine Zidane. The Manchester Evening News said last week that Manchester United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause if Solskjaer gets sacked, and apparently Brendan Rodgers has already verbally agreed to become Manchester United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season because he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. Now, should Brendan Rodgers replace Solskjaer? If Brendan Rodgers came to Manchester United, would he get the best out of these group of players? Would he get us back to that level where we should be at? And would he be capable of winning trophies? You've got to admire what Brendan Rodgers has done at Leicester. So far at Leicester, he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup. He's been in charge of Leicester for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. Well, let's put it this way, Brendan Rodgers is a far superior manager to Solskjaer. Zinedine Zidane, I give you the news on him earlier on today. Zinedine Zidane is interested in the Manchester United job, but there's a problem. Zidane's wife is not attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. Reports said last month that Zidane wasn't interested in the Manchester United job, but Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane could persuade him to join. Manchester United have made progress in talks with Zidane. Ronaldo wants Zidane at Manchester United. Ronaldo played under Zidane when he was at Real Madrid. I think Zidane would be the man for Manchester United. Zidane is available because he left Real Madrid in the summer. And you've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. At this time, Zidane has not yet managed in the Premier League, so it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. But revert back to Solskjaer. Recently, Solskjaer returned to the Carrington training ground. Last week, Solskjaer was away in Norway after he granted his players a week off. Earlier on this week, it did say that the Manchester United board have not yet made a decision on Solskjaer's future, and Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Manchester United want to continue with Solskjaer for as long as possible, with the view to assess the situation in the summer. Reports said last weekend that senior stars want Solskjaer sacked. That was stemming from Duncan Castles. And recently it said 8 Man United stars feel misled by Solskjaer with the broken promises he made to them during the summer. Reports did say the other week that Solskjaer was waiting to be sacked after leaving Manchester. Solskjaer is expected to be in charge for the game against Watford this weekend. Defeat to Watford will surely end Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United. He should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, because if we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. After the humiliation to Liverpool, it said Ollie had been given 3 games to save his job. He only won 1 of them 3 games. When Manchester United sack Solskjaer, they have to pay him around $7.5 million, because in the summer, Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year, and we made a mistake giving him that contract. And a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. Solskjaer's been given long enough at Manchester United. He's been Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. And reflecting now on his being at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt a few different things on the job. But there's still plenty of things Ollie's got to learn, because he is still a young coach. Solskjaer is aware that he's under serious pressure following back-to-back home defeats to Man City and Liverpool, and Man United have only won 1 of their last 6 Premier League games, and Man United are currently sitting 6th in the Premier League at the moment. Reflecting on our poor performances, yes, some of the blame stems from Solskjaer because his tactics and his team selections have been questioned. But not all the blame stems from Solskjaer. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. The reason Solskjaer's lasted as long as he has done is because he's a legend of the club. Disregarding him being a legend of the club, I can assure he would have been sacked a long time ago. And we all adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. At the end of the day, he was a very good player for Man United. He enjoyed 11 years as a player. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance. He had a proven pedigree when he was a player, but unfortunately, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and that is a concern. This season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season as Man United manager, and I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for him. But I just feel as though that the expectations are far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager. he's lowered the standards at the club as manager, and Ole is in a position that he shouldn't be in. I hate to say this regarding Solskjaer, but I'm just being realistic. Solskjaer has not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. The reason he got the job on a permanent basis was reflecting how well he did when he first came in. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job. Not only that, he knew it was going to be a difficult job as well, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Solskjaer is managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know, the board continue to back Solskjaer. You know, the Glazers are backing him. Ed Woodward's backing him. John Murtaugh, our director of football's backed him, and Darren Fletcher's backed him. And Solskjaer got very good backing in this year's summer transfer window. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings, spent £141 million. Ollie's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. Plus Man United have got a very good squad. But the reason we don't get the best out of a lot of the players is because we're a team of individuals, like a lot of pundits have spoke about. You know, we don't actually play as a team. If we played as a team, we'd be in a much better position than we're in right now. You know, when Solskjaer gets sacked, he will be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. Sacked David Moyes, sacked Louis van Gaal, and sacked Jose Mourinho. And Man United are not really known as a sacking football club because they haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. But Manchester United have got very, very good players. You know, you've got Marcus Rashford, that's a good player. You know, Rashford has done well in a few games since he's come back, but he's also had some poor games as well. At one point, Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and at one point he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Most of the time now, Rashford plays on the left wing. Well, we need to keep him on the left wing because that's where he's mostly effective. He's far superior on the left wing to the right wing and up top. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's been in our senior squad now for like 5.5 years and he's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. And you've also got Edison Cavani, that's a good player. I think Cavani's hold-up play is good. His movement in and around the box is good. He creates very good chances and he scores very good goals. Cavani is out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension. But unfortunately, I do think he's leaving next year. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season is his 2nd full season at Man United. We've also got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. You know, Mason Greenwood's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. I can assure he's got a long-term future at Man United. Greenwood has scored, 4 goals in the league so far this season. At one point, though, he did go a while without scoring, but despite that, he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Greenwood actually played alongside Ronaldo in the defeat to Man City, but the Greenwood-Ronaldo partnership doesn't work out. We've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo's done well since he's re-signed. He's scored 9 goals in all competitions so far. Not so long ago, he got named Player of the Month for October. So he's got back-to-back awards now, because back in September, Ronaldo got named Premier League Player of the Month. Ronaldo's obviously infuriated with what's going on at Man United at the moment, and he even mocked Solskjaer's tactics in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Man United are relying on Ronaldo far too much. You know, Ronaldo saved Solskjaer in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta because he netted twice in stoppage time at the end of both halves. He also scored the winner in the reverse fixture against Atalanta at Old Trafford. He scored the winner against Villarreal earlier on this season, so that just shows you, doesn't it? I can't see Ronaldo seeing out his contract if Solskjaer remains Man United manager. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. He receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. He wears the number 7 shirt, and we got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. He's won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. And you've got Bruno Fernandes. That's an exceptional player. Bruno Fernandes starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games. He's been consistent in a lot of games for Man United, but on the other side of things, there's been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. I've got to say Fernandes was very poor in the 2-0 defeat to Man City. Fernandes is one of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years. We got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. You know, last season he won Player of the Year, and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Earlier on this season, Fernandes did make it clear that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And when he first came to Man United, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." At the moment, Fernandes has got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. You've also got Donny van de Beek. That's another good player Man United have got, but I haven't really had much of a perception on Donny van de Beek because he doesn't get enough game time. And I've said Solskjaer should be starting Van de Beek, especially in the Premier League, because he's a good player. Donny van de Beek's leaving Manchester United in January. The player himself has confirmed that. Prior to the Liverpool game, Solskjaer did make an admission regarding Van de Beek, saying that Van de Beek is frustrated and disappointed over his situation at Old Trafford. And earlier on this season, it said Van de Beek was furious with Solskjaer. Van de Beek's endured a difficult year and a half at Man United. You know, this season is his second full season at the club. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and Van der Beek's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. You've also got Paul Pogba. That's another good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. I want Pogba to stay at Manchester United, but I think there's a good chance he's not going to, unfortunately, because not so long ago it said Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Pogba may never play for the club again because Pogba's going to miss the rest of 2021 because Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training. Pogba has got 1 game to serve out of the 3-match ban he got because Pogba got sent off in Man United's 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. He did play though in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta and he put a very poor performance out, so reflecting on that he got heavily criticised. But there again, reports from France said not so long ago that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United, but reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So Pogba wants to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. His former club Juventus have been in for him. He did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Pogba's agent Mino Raiola has been working hard now for a long time to get his client a move away from the football club. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far and he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era but had to let him go due to limited appearances. You've also got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, that's a good right back. You know, the defensive side of his game is superb, but on the other side of things, the attacking side of his game is not so good. There's aspects of his game that have got to improve. He's got to show a lot more attacking intent. His crossing's got to improve. And his positioning has to improve. But despite that, he's still one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville, you know. This season is Wan-Bissaka's 3rd full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. And we've also got Eric Bailly. That's a good centre-half. But I think Bailly will be leaving Man United next year because Bailly doesn't get regular game time. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window. And for some reason Ollie prefers Lindelof ahead of Eric Bailly. Bailly's only made 3 appearances so far this season. He was very poor in the defeat to Man City. I was shocked in that aspect because Bailly put a very good performance out in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta and he performed well against West Ham in the Cup earlier on this season. My concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he's a liability. Towards the end of last season he signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly's been at the club now for 5.5 years. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for 30 million. We've also got Varane. That's a very good centre-half. He's done well in quite a few games for Man United, but he's had a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. The disappointing thing is, from a Man United perspective, that Varane has already endured 2 injuries since he re-signed. Because at the moment, Varane is out with a hamstring injury for around 3 weeks. And not so long ago, he was out with a groin injury. And he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. He initially made his return in the 3-0 win against Tottenham. Harry Maguire, he can be a good centre-half when he wants to be, but I've got to say he's been very, very poor this season, and he's been even worse since he come back from that calf injury. To be fair, Maguire does well for England. And Luke Shaw, overall, he's a good left-back, but he's certainly not proven how good he can be so far this season. Luke Shaw's been abysmal so far this season. Where's the Luke Shaw from last season? Because last season, Luke Shaw was absolutely superb. And you've got De Gea. That's a very, very good goalkeeper. I've got to give De Gea credit because I think he's done really, really well so far this season. And Dean Henderson's a decent goalkeeper as well, but obviously Dean Henderson doesn't get in goal now because De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot. Dean Henderson wants a loan move away from Man United next year. So there you go, we have got very, very good players. There's also inconsistent players at Man United. You've got Martial, who's inconsistent. He doesn't get in the team now anyway. You've got Lingard, that's inconsistent, but he doesn't really get in the team. Martial and Lingard will be both leaving the club next year. And you've also got Fred and McTominay that are not good enough to represent the club. They play a lot together. And a lot of United fans have had a go at Solskjaer for persistently selecting Fred and McTominay in the centre midfield. You've got Victor Lindelof, he's another one that's not good enough to represent the club. Maguire and Shaw have been very inconsistent this season, but despite that, they'll be obviously staying at Manchester United, but I don't know how long for. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.